Hey everyone, it's Claudia, and welcome to Take a Moment to pause with purpose. And that does represent the new topic that I bring to you each and every week that I hope will inspire and encourage you to pause for a moment, think about what I'm saying, and then be provoked to tweak perspective just a little bit, because sometimes the smallest changes can have a major impact going forward. Each week I come to you completely dependent on the Lord, believing that he's going to show up and show off, but mostly he's going to download a topic to me, which he does each week, and that he will give me the words to say to share what's on his heart through me. It has been a time of discovery. It's been a time of growth and the letting go of myself and trusting the Lord more. That's what this is all about. It's been a time of transformation, and I'm very grateful. And I believe that many of you are in a time of change and transformation as well. You can find me on my YouTube channel, Take a Moment to pause with purpose, and on my podcast stations such as Apple and Spotify. Again, take a moment to pause with purpose. I encourage you to like, subscribe, and share. That would help grow the channel and would mean a lot to me. And also, I love your comments. So please feel free to comment as well. I enjoy the dialogue back and forth. This week is take a moment to keep communication clear. We are human beings. And oftentimes communication can be a bit murky and not clear at all. And I've seen it in work situations, I've seen it in personal situations. It's through relationships with husbands, wives, friends, whatever it is. We're human beings, we're going to have a miscommunication. It's just the way it works. And I was inspired this week to bring this topic to you, and it's kind of interesting how it happened. As you can see, the background for this week's topic is a little bit different than usual. I am blessed to be visiting a very special friend in my life, and I'm in Oregon at her home and spending the Thanksgiving holiday with her family. And I trust that you all had a blessed Thanksgiving. So I'm doing a makeshift podcast here, so bear with me. But anyway, she has a 3-year-old toddler, adorable child, really adorable. And I was babysitting uh, for a few hours to give her mother a chance to go out and do their Black Friday shopping, which is an annual tradition in the family. Well, as I said, the child is adorable. And we had a little bit of miscommunication this morning. Um, she was laying on the sofa and she got up a little too early, so she was a little bit out of it. But she said she wanted to play with 2 bunnies. And I said, okay, where are the 2 bunnies? And she says, upstairs. So I figured they were in her room. So I made my way all the way upstairs to go to her room and get 2 bunnies. Well, I go to the room and there are 3 bunnies. So I said, okay. So I brought 3 bunnies down. And I showed them to her. She said, no, not those bunnies, the other bunnies. And I said, what other bunnies? She said, the ones in the closet. And I said, the bunnies in the closet. She said, yes, those bunnies. So I said, okay. So again, I go all the way upstairs, search her closet, didn't find any bunnies, searched more closets, didn't find any bunnies. So I had to do some negotiating tactics with a 3-year-old today. And I found some, I know she likes to do building blocks and stuff. So I brought her supply of building blocks down and I negotiated with her. I said, I couldn't find the bunnies, but I do know how much you enjoy playing with blocks. I said, I brought them down so you can play. Are you okay with that? She said, okay, fine. So if I had asked or knew to ask, what bunnies, where are the bunnies, I would have saved myself a trip upstairs and she wouldn't have had that little 3-year-old attitude of, no, those aren't the right bunnies. So it's very important to have clear communication, even if it's a 3-year-old. How many times do people say something and we think we understand and we don't? Or people say something, we're in a conversation or a dialogue, whatever it is, and we react instead of respond. And so we're shutting off clear communication because we get our dander up and we're reacting to something somebody said. So that is how important it is to have clear communication. When we have clear communication and we take to step back, we pause with a purpose to clearly understand. And I've said before, I've never been married, and so I've not had that kind of relationship between husband and wife, man and woman. And what I have noticed with couples in my life, there is so much miscommunication. Men and women just speak totally different languages. And I can see the wife says something or the girlfriend says something, and the boyfriend, husband just doesn't understand, or she thinks she understands and she goes off, does something, and it's totally wrong, and they get in a fight, or he misunderstands her, and because they do talk different languages and they have a fight, and it's craziness. So it makes sense to take a step back, get clarity on what the request is, what the communication is, because will give us less stress. We'll be on the same page and know exactly what needs to be done. And it's not that big a deal. It really is not big a deal. And I remember when I was in corporate, if I left a meeting without having clarity or what everybody was supposed to do or what the next goals were, it would create havoc. So I always made sure that I had copious notes and I would do follow-up memos to everybody, letting them know what the conversation was, what the agreement was, and who had to do what. And then I had a status report from that and followed up with everybody accordingly. And I always said, if there's any difference of opinion, if there's something that was said that is not covered, please let me know. So at least everybody was on the same page and everybody had their marching orders. They knew what to do. But that's in a business situation. But no matter what it is, we need to make ourselves clear. Now, I have a female friend, and I've noticed lately that we have a situation where I'm not understanding quite what she's saying, and I have to always go back and ask exactly what she means. Not like there's anything difficult about it or whatever, but even the two of us, two females, we're on different pages and we're not quite getting the message. So it's very important to just stop and ask questions. Just ask questions if you don't have clarity. Ask questions if you're not clear about something, if you want to know more, if there's not enough information. Just take the time to ask a question. Better to ask a question and not feel like you're stupid later. It just makes sense to be like that. And it causes, as I said, less stress, less anxiety, and you move with a purpose. You can pause, have purpose, know exactly what you're doing, know exactly what they're doing, who's got what covered. And I'm thinking right now of in Hebrew, in the Hebraic culture, there's Torah. And I studied Torah for 4 years. And the beauty of Torah is not to take things at face value, but to always ask questions, always study, never just say, okay, fine, and then just wipe your hands and go, that's it. There's always more. There's always more to learn. There's always more to ask. There's always more to know and learn. And it's a catalyst for going forward. But also, it shows respect for another person if you have enough confidence in yourself and in them to say, I'm not getting this, let's talk it through. Or is there more that you want? Whatever it is, be clear, understand the communication so that there's no problems later. And I had I had a boss one time and we analyzed things very differently. He was very mathematical and I was more conceptual. And I would go into his office and he would always have his back to me. And it was kind of like a power trip thing, have his back to me and then turn around and we talk about things that need to be analyzed. Well, I'd go off and do my analysis and I had my way of doing things. And I'd go back and sit down to go through my investigation and what I discovered and what my recommendations are. Well, because of his personality, would always reanalyze everything I did. Well, initially it was like, what am I stupid? It's like I understood the assignment but no, it was just a power trip. So the communication, I had to learn his personality. I had learned to learn who it was. So The net result is we always came to the same conclusion, even though we came at it from different angles. Well, it got to the point where I just said, you know what? You do your analysis. Let me know when you're finished and I'll come back. I mean, I had things to do and I wasn't going to sit there twiddling my thumbs while he reanalyzed what I already did. So that was a communication that we had. And I wasn't shy about it. I just had other things to do. And I knew we were going to come to the same conclusion. And he didn't have a problem with it. So my communication there was setting a boundary. And that's part of communication, setting boundaries. What will you tolerate and what will you not tolerate? Because most people will overstep and go over the line if you don't make it clear what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And many people have a problem with this because, especially people who are more giving and not confrontational, and people can walk all over them. And then there are those people who are much more aggressive and want to be in control. So they are always like bulls in a china shop, barreling through, and another person doesn't have a time to get another word in edgewise. So it's important to set boundaries with people. It's perfectly legitimate. It's perfectly fine. It also helps keep communication clear. And it's not just for you, it's for everybody else. I mean, I'm sure we've all been in those situations where we come out. I mean, I've been in meetings, I come out going, what was that all about? And then I have to go check with other people going, what did you get from that? I just totally don't understand. And the direction just isn't clear. Even as an actress, yes, a director can give direction, but it can be kind of convoluted or not very clear. And it's like, I don't know what it is that the director wants. So it's not going up and saying, I don't understand what you want. It's rephrasing what they have said and just confirming that you're understanding it properly to go back and recalibrate the scene and what the director is asking for. So it all comes down to talking. Just talk, have a purpose and get clear communication. It just is that simple, but we make a big deal out of it all the time. It's not. It is a very simple premise. It's a very simple way to make sure that there are no mistakes, make sure that there's no hypersensitivity, to make sure that things are rolling as they should. With all of that said, I encourage you to take a moment to keep communication clear.